Hey everybody, how are you doing today? Today I want to show you a little bit more inside my process, and this time with regard to vocal processing. I have a new track coming out later this month titled We Learned a Thing or Two, and it's going to be on Massive Harmony Records. And in this track I put in some of my own vocals, and I did a lot of processing to them. This track is like kind of a very deep track, and I wanted it to have a little bit of a dreamlike quality. So let me play you a little bit of the excerpt of the track, and this is from the breakdown. So as you can hear, the vocals have a lot of effects on them. So I'm going to show you what I did with them. First of all, you'll notice that I doubled the tracks, actually tripled. As you can see here, there's a main vocal, and then there's vocal double number 1 and vocal double number 2. That's something that's done very often, as many of you probably know, where a singer sings it a few times and they stack the vocals to make them a little bit thicker. And I put processing on all 3 of those files, but I'm just going to focus on the main one because that's the one that you hear the most. In any case, let me first take off all the effects. I'm going to mute the reverb and the delay on the vocals, and just solo the vocals. You and I. So you can hear what they sound without the delay and the reverb. Now I'm going to take all the effects off, and you can hear what they originally sounded like. And just put this forward a little bit. You and I. So, you know, pretty plain, of course. The first thing I did was roll off some of the high end of those vocals and some of the low end. Had to, if you look at the analyzer here in Logic's channel EQ, you see there's some low end energy here, the really low. Between 20 and 50 hertz, and actually all the way up to 200 hertz. You really don't need any of that. So I just put a low cut filter on that, and then I cut the high end too, to give it like an old telephone like quality. You and I. And as you can hear, it already sounds like a little bit kind of dusty. Next thing I did was I put some compression on it with Waves CLA76 plugin, and that's just to control the dynamics a little bit. You and I. You can see there that it's not a lot. It's just like maybe 3 dB gain reduction on the peaks. Next thing I did was I put on Soundtoys Decapitator. This is another one of my favorite plugins. Decapitator adds like some harmonic distortion, basically. It's got a lot of great settings. Often I take presets and tweak them, but in this case I started with a default and just played around with it a little bit. Here you can hear the sound. You and I. It's kind of subtle, but it just adds a little bit of a top-end crispiness to it. The settings that you play around with in Decapitator are the drive, like how much of the signal you push into the unit. You can change, you can cut the lows, you can change the tone, you can cut the highs, alter the mix, and there's a few different styles that you can use. So that's a great plugin. I really like Decapitator. And then I put on, lastly, Waves Doubler, which is pretty much what it says. It doubles the signal. Actually adds quite a few voices This particular setting that I used is called Doubler 4 Voices. So it's thickening the sound, kind of adding a chorusing sound. Let me play a little bit of that with and without. You and I. That's without. Here's with. You and I. So you can hear that it's adding a, doubling it, thickening it, adding a chorus type sound. And then lastly, I added the delay. The delay is FabFilter Timeless, which is a nice delay unit. Sounds really cool, has a lot of cool presets in it, and it has the added benefit of having filters that you can add and a lot of different modulation of those filters. So here's the sound with the delay on. You and I, which is adding a lot of kind of psychedelic atmosphere. And then the last thing I put on was some reverb from Logic's Space Designer reverb. In this case, I chose like an early reflection type of sound. You and I. And there you have it. That's, just some of the kind of things I do when I'm adding effects to vocals. Hope you enjoyed it and found it interesting and maybe inspiring. And I'll talk to you again sometime soon.